Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're tackling a really cool concept. Multiple intelligences. It really challenges how we typically think about smarts,
Absolutely.
being smart.
Yeah.
And for this one, we've got a whole bunch of summaries and reviews of Howard Gardner's book, Frames of Mind.
Oh, very cool.
I think this is going to be a really fun one.
I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
It really is a game changer how he's thinking about intelligence. Instead of it being just like one score, he's proposing we all have like this unique blend of different intelligences.
Yeah, it's like a much more hopeful way to look at things, right?
Definitely.
Like human potential.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's break this down a little.
Okay.
When we typically think about intelligence, we think about an IQ test, the SATs, all that focuses on logic and math and verbal skills. But Gardner's saying that's way too limited. He identifies all these other areas where we have cognitive strength.
Right.
So we've got things like linguistic and logical, mathematical, musical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic.
Yes.
And even like personal intelligences.
Yeah.
Like interpersonal and intrapersonal.
Exactly. And each of those intelligences represents a different way of processing information.
Yeah.
And understanding the world and actually like interacting with it. It's not about being good or bad at something. It's about recognizing that we have different ways. Our brains are kind of wired to do things.
Well, and that totally changes what we even consider smart.
Right.
It's not this one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's like we all have these strengths and these talents in different areas.
Yeah.
So let's get into some specific examples.
Okay.
One that always gets me is musical intelligence.
Okay.
The source material had this crazy anecdote about these musical prodigies.
Yeah.
Like there was this kid who could play Bach flawlessly.
Wow. And then someone else who could like sing opera after hearing it once.
Amazing.
And like a little Mozart writing a minuet.
Wow.
And each of them is showing musical brilliance in a totally different way.
Yeah. And I think that highlights this key point about MI theory.
What's that?
It's not just about being good at music.
Right.
It's how you process that sound, the rhythm and melody.
Yeah.
It's recognizing patterns or remembering tunes or even expressing emotions through the music.
Right.
And, it raises an interesting question.
What's that?
How much of this is about talent versus environment?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Like, are these prodigies just born with it?
Right.
Or is it something that can be nurtured and developed through early exposure and training? The source material did touch on that a bit, that nature versus nurture debate.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's no easy answer.
Right. It's likely this really complex interplay of both.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody may have like a predisposition to it.
But the environment plays a huge role in shaping how that intelligence develops.
Right.
I mean, even if you're not composing symphonies at age 5, think about how you interact with music in your own life.
Yeah.
Do you tap your foot to a beat? Can you remember melodies really easily?
Yeah.
That could be your musical intelligence at work.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many of these intelligences we've just like dismissed or overlooked.
Right.
Because they weren't valued in school.
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
let's
move on to another intelligence that I think often gets shortchanged.
Okay.
Bodily kinesthetic.
Yes. The intelligence of movement.
Exactly. And it's not just about being athletic.
Right.
Our source material points out that surgeons, craftspeople, even dancers, all rely on this intelligence in different ways.
Yes. They all have incredible control and coordination and a sense of timing.
Well, and it really shows you that like the mind and the body, they're really interconnected. Like think about how you learn a new sport or a skill, how quickly you pick up the movements, your natural sense of balance and coordination.
Totally.
Those are all clues to your level of bodily kinesthetic intelligence.
Totally.
What I find fascinating about this one is it really challenges how we traditionally separate mental and physical abilities. It's not just about strength or agility. It's about using your body as like an instrument of expression, problem solving, and even creativity.
Right.
It's wild.
It really has implications for how we approach learning.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine a classroom where movement and physical activity are like integrated into the curriculum.
Wow.
It's not just recess or gym.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a really powerful idea. You know, it could totally change things for students who don't necessarily excel in traditional academic settings.
Right.
But they have these incredible strengths in other areas, like dance or athletics or hands-on learning.
If we recognize and nurture these different intelligences, we could create a much more inclusive and effective educational system.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about musical and bodily kinesthetic.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears a bit.
Okay.
And explore another fascinating one.
Okay.
Linguistic intelligence.
Okay, this is the intelligence that deals with language.
Okay.
Understanding it, using it effectively.
Right.
And even like manipulating it in creative ways.
Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all use language every day.
We do.
But the source material talks about these people in pre-literate cultures.
Oh, wow.
Who have these incredible memories for stories and proverbs.
Yeah.
And they use them to spread crucial information.
That's taking it to a whole other level.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like linguistic intelligence on steroids or something.
Yeah, and it really reminds us that linguistic intelligence isn't just reading and writing. Yeah. It's about the power of language to preserve knowledge, shape culture, connect people across generations.
Even in our digital age, with all the emojis and everything, the ability to articulate your thoughts clearly is so valuable.
Absolutely.
Okay, but let's not forget the intelligence that often gets the most attention in school.
Yeah.
Logical, mathematical.
Right. The intelligence of numbers and reasoning and problem solving.
Yeah, but it's more than just like crunching numbers.
Yeah.
Or memorizing formulas, right?
It is.
It's about recognizing patterns.
Yeah.
Analyzing information. Thinking systematically.
Exactly.
And it's not just about abstract concepts either.
Right.
Gardner talks about how action is important for developing this intelligence.
Yeah.
Think about a little kid playing with toys. And figuring out cause and effect.
Yeah.
Or a scientist doing experiments.
Yes.
They're interacting with the physical world.
Yeah.
And trying to make sense of it.
Right.
Through a logical lens.
I think a lot of people think you're either good or bad at math.
Oh, yeah.
But it's something that can be developed and nurtured through these hands-on experiences and problem-solving challenges.
Okay, so we've touched on 4 of Gardner's intelligences.
Yes.
Musical, bodily, kinesthetic, linguistic, and logical mathematical. But we still have a few more to explore.
We do.
Are you ready to dive into the next one?
I am ready when you are. All right, let's talk about spatial intelligence.
Okay.
So this one's all about how we perceive and manipulate visual information. It's that ability to think in 3D, to mentally rotate objects and understand spatial relationships.
Yeah, like how architects can design these crazy buildings.
Exactly. Or how pilots can navigate through the air. Or even how sculptors can just transform a block of marble into art.
The source material talked about artists like Michelangelo.
Oh, yeah.
And how they just see the world through this spatial lens.
That's amazing.
But then it also mentioned how blind children can develop spatial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
Through touch and sound.
Really?
Yeah. It was so fascinating.
That's incredible.
Like our brains can adapt and find different ways to understand spatial concepts.
That challenges that assumption that you have to be able to see to have spatial intelligence. It's really about creating those mental maps and understanding spatial relationships, regardless of what your senses are telling you.
So even if you're not like painting the Sistine Chapel.
Right.
Think about how you use spatial intelligence in your everyday life. Do you have a good sense of direction?
Yeah.
Can you picture how furniture would fit in a room? Or like tack a suitcase really efficiently?
Those are all signs of spatial intelligence. At work. That's so cool. And we can develop this intelligence, too.
Oh, really?
Through things like playing Tetris, building with Legos, or even just like paying attention to your surroundings when you're out and about.
I wonder how much we could like enhance our spatial intelligence if we really tried.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the personal intelligences.
Okay.
These are so important for understanding ourselves.
Yeah.
And like navigating that social world.
Right.
So first up, interpersonal intelligence.
Okay, so this is the one that allows us to connect with other people. Okay. To build those relationships and understand those social dynamics.
Think about the people in your life.
Yeah.
Who just have that really strong interpersonal intelligence.
Yeah, they're great communicators, natural mediators.
Yeah.
They can read people so well.
Like they know what makes people tick.
Oh, yeah.
They can empathize.
Yes.
Build consensus. It's like they just navigate those tricky social situations.
They make it look so easy.
With ease.
It's a really valuable skill.
It is.
No matter where you are, work, personal life, just everyday interactions. And, some people just seem to be naturally gifted with it.
Yeah.
But it is an intelligence that we can develop.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So how can we cultivate that?
Well, active listening is a big one.
Okay.
Really paying attention to what people are saying and their body language, too. It's also about being empathetic.
Yeah.
Trying to see things from their point of view, even if you don't agree with them.
That could be tough.
Yeah. But it's about building those bridges, understanding and connection.
Okay, so we talked about understanding others.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about understanding ourselves.
Okay.
Intrapersonal intelligence.
This one's all about self-awareness.
Okay.
Understanding our own emotions, our motivations, our aspirations. It's like having this inner compass guiding you.
People with strong interpersonal intelligence are really introspective and reflective.
Okay.
They have this deep understanding of themselves, their strengths, their weaknesses, and they use that to make decisions that align with their values.
So we've covered all 7 of Gardner's intelligences.
I have.
Musical, bodily-kinesthetic, linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, interpersonal, and intrapersonal.
That's a pretty amazing view of human potential.
It is.